morning, everyone. So today our groups will explain you about how the teachers can teach either in the classroom, and our groups topic today is about poetry musicalization. So let's get started. Well, my friends, for the first part is about the definition of poetry. Now, in this part, the teacher should be able to give the instructions to the student to read the poetry definition in the book. But after that, the teachers also should be able to explain more in front of the class about the definition of poetry. Next is about the elements of poetry. The teachers can give the instruction to the students to read the elements and try to remember it by the book. But also, the teacher should be able to explain more the elements such as simile, alliteration, assonance, rhythm, and also moral value.
After the teacher explanation about poetry, the teacher should be able to give example of poetry itself. Like our material, we put one example and make discussion about some elements in that poetry, namely assonance, alliteration, rhythm, and simile. This is example will be finished by the teacher together with the student. After the student understand, the teacher give practice for the student. This practice for individual. The teacher give instruction to find alliteration, assonance, rhythm, and simile for the poetry that has been given for the student. In the second practice, the teacher give the audio poetry and give some interaction to find some elements of poetry.
The second part is about poetry musicalization. The first is definition. In this part, the teacher gives the instruction to the student to write down the definition of poetry musicalization, and the student write down the definition of poetry musicalization in their book. After that, the teacher should be able to explain more about poetry musicalization. This part, the teacher can give the instruction to the student to read the elements of poetry musicalization and try to remember it. But also, the teacher can give the more explanation about the elements of poetry musicalization, such as intonation, gesture, vocal, tone, and pronunciation.
After the teacher gives explanation about poetry musicalization, the teacher should be able to give the example of poetry itself. Like our material, the teacher put one example to the student by watching and listening to the video about poetry. After that, the teacher gives explanation about the video and make a conclusion about some elements in that poetry, such as vocal, intonation, pronunciation, gesture, tone, and etc. This example will be finished by the teacher together with the student. After the student understand, the teacher will give the practice to the student. The first practice for individual, the teacher will read the poetry once. After that, the student could be able to underline the vocal, intonation, and pronunciation. This practice makes the student easier to read the poetry. In the second practice, in this part, the teacher will give the instruction to the student to create a poetry about family, school, and friends. The teacher gives instruction and some instrument to combine with that poetry. After that, each other group performs in front of the class. And the last, when one group performing in front of class, the teacher asks the student to pay attention and answer some questions such as main idea of poetry, finding the elements of poetry, and moral value.